All right. Hush, how you doing?
What up, man?
Not much, man. Appreciate you taking the time. We're out here in Detroit.
Welcome to Detroit.
Yeah, beautiful city.
Sometimes.
We're downtown. A lot of people might not know who you are. A lot of people do know who you are. You have a lot of accolades for your music and everything. And you also have known Eminem since you were, I believe, 22 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how'd you get started with music?
Well, I had been rapping since I was like 12 years old, fascinated with, all the greats, all the GOATs, everybody that they put in there, all the old school dudes that people put in their top five, the Big Daddy Kanes, the Rakims, the KRS-Ones, Chuck D's, Ice-T's. Those were my heroes growing up, and watching them and watching their videos and hearing their music just was like a major impact in my life. So I picked up a pad and started trying to write my own raps. I used to basically just take their songs and make them either dirty or make them funny and change the words and do stuff like that. That was like my thing to do when I was 12. But then I really started taking it serious when I was about 16. And just thought that was something that I really wanted to do, and just kept on pushing my pen and trying to, focus on certain things that I liked in each one of my, idols. Like I love Slick Rick's storytelling, so I tried to develop how to write stories, and make them so that they were, listenable to fans or somebody who was listening could understand the story. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. But then I also studied like Rakim and Big Daddy Kane and their syllable styles and tried to, rhyme different patterns. And, I used to literally like write out their words and count and put numbers above their words and see, okay, there's 17 syllables here. Then right below that, I would write my own sentences to match theirs, so my rhymes would have the same kind of syllable pattern, and then through that I kind of just developed my own style. But it wasn't until about 95 that I really, like 93, 94, 95, that I really took it serious about this is what I want to do for a living and really make a business and really make a go at being a professional rapper.
All right. Okay. So as you're progressing and you're learning your style and everything, what was the scene like in Detroit?
The scene was incredible. I was too young, and really, I was disconnected from the Detroit rap scene in the fact that I couldn't get into the clubs that these guys, the Detroit rappers, were performing at. So you had greats like Awesome Dre and the Hardcore Committee, or you had Prince Vince and the Hip Hop Squad. You had Chaos and Maestro. You had Easy B and DJ Los, who, to me, that group was the ones that made me really believe, like between Easy B and DJ Los and Awesome Dre, that I could really be a Detroit rapper. Like listening to their raps and seeing them, hearing how put together their stuff was. It was really, it fit in the mold of what was going on at the time, of the late 80s, mid to late 80s, and even some of the early 90s, as like Awesome Dre kind of broke into like the 90s, like in the like I'd say 90, 91. The scene was really, I'd say it was like a real street scene. The rap's real street. There really was no, pomp and, like just trying to, make it really, just really, eccentric or anything like that. We didn't have rappers like that. Flashy rappers. We didn't have flashy rappers. We had street rappers that the street people in the streets knew these guys for real. Like we had a group called Rap Mafia. These dudes literally got busted selling dope while they were shooting their video. They were selling real dope in their video and got busted. Like, and some of them dudes went away for a while. Our street, the street scene, the hip hop scene here was real. Everything that you heard these guys talk about, you knew was the real deal. So it was a lot different than what we heard from New York or LA or whatever, because we heard both coasts. We knew that LA was more the gangster stuff because of Ice-T and NWA, but then the East Coast stuff, had many different type of people. It wasn't just somebody like a Cool G Rap or somebody like that. So I'd say we had dedicated, like that scene was dedicated to Detroit. They were real Detroit, street rappers that were just incredible as artists. We had Awesome Dre, who actually got a record deal. I remember him being on the cover of Yo magazine. He went on tour with Public Enemy. Like, I was like, I want to be him. Like, I was all about that. Like, I remember the cover of his album. He had a Gauge and a Tech 9 pointed at the heads of two guys that were on their knees, and those dudes were dressed like LL and Kumo D. And the building we're in, which was called the Renaissance Center back then, it's the GM building now, but that was in the background of the shot. So this is like a very iconic building we're in. So a lot of Detroit rappers put this on their album covers back in the 80s. So yeah, it's crazy.
Was there a lot of battle rapping going on?
There was a lot of battle rapping, but the battle raps were always in school. So at lunchtime, or like before lunch would hit, people were hyping it up. Like, oh, I'm a battle, what's his name, blah, blah, blah. And then you'd have your homeboy at the table making the beat on the table, and then somebody would be across from you, and you and people would be all gathered around in a circle. Lunchtime, you just go at it. And that's pretty much how it was. I mean, I know it was like that in many schools, because to hear Proof tell me stories about it, to hear my boy Champtown tell me about how him and Isham used to battle people at Osborne High and stuff like that. Like, I know that's kind of, it seems like that's the place for us to battle. There really was no, there really was no structured battles, where it was like, okay, Thursday at 7:00 at this club, everybody's gonna meet and we're gonna battle. Nobody ever had that until, basically, I didn't see any of that in the scene, because I wasn't around the scene. I was away for a couple of years on vacation, and when I came back from vacation, there were battles at the hip hop shop.